Hi, everybody. Today's lecture is about having the talk about the birds and the bees of AI. I want to be really transparent with you and share some things that I know about AI and things that students have reported so that we can actually talk about this, not be afraid of it, be more informed, because we are in the middle of a revolution, a very exciting one. It's a little bit scary as well. So let's dive in. And I wanted to talk about how teachers and students are struggling. And so I wanted to share that instead of assuming the worst, I would like to reframe the issue. So as a teacher, I don't want to ask how we can stop you, the students, from using AI. I would prefer to ask the questions, how can we help students use AI responsibly? I want you to learn how to use it, learn when not to use it, so that you can make some choices for your own learning and academic lives. So AI literacy is an essential skill and it's a new skill. And so in addition to understanding how to use it, we need to understand how to evaluate it and to responsibly use or collaborate with it. So it includes knowing what AI can do and where its limitations lie. So these tools are actually becoming quite common in the workplace, including our colleges, in research environments, in healthcare and business, and in media and information ecosystems. So it's important for you to understand that you are going to encounter AI regardless of whether we talk about it in the classroom or not. And I think it's really important that you understand that we can learn how to use this together, and I am here to guide you. And in case you didn't know, I am an AI change maker for the state of California. So I am working with other faculty across the state to try and figure out how to best use and collaborate with AI and how to best support all of you. So again, I wanted to reiterate and to dig in deeper that AI literacy actually will help you understand how AI systems generate responses, how to identify hallucinations and misinformation, how to recognize the bias in AI outputs, how to use the tools ethically and transparently, which I'm going to be asking you in our classes that you take with me. And then also to really reflect on how AI supports learning and when it actually might replace learning. And that's really the ticket where faculty, teachers are concerned. We don't want you to use AI to replace your thinking and learning. So we don't want you to rely on AI. We want you to be critical users of these technology tools, to be informed evaluators of this information and ethical participants in this new AI-driven world. And so again, we're already using AI in the modern workforce, and there are employers who are looking for employees who understand how to think critically about AI. And I, as your teacher, want to help you to become digitally literate, to make ethical decisions, to evaluate your information, and to take some responsibility. And me too, I need to take responsibility as well. So I encourage you to take a screenshot or a photo of this slide. I didn't share all the information with you, but this is going to be an important one for you to look back on to understand where you fit in as a student during this time. So I also want to share that this is not our first rodeo. This is not the first time we've encountered these changes where students and teachers alike are nervous and yet excited. We've had calculators where students won't learn math. We've had the internet that actually took place during the time I first started teaching. And there was a concern that students won't actually do research. Also with Wikipedia and spell check and artificial intelligence, there's these concerns that with these tools that we won't be learning or researching properly or evaluating sources critically or learn. So I am here to tell you that I think we can, but it is going to take efforts on our parts as teachers and your parts as students to make sure that you are continuing to do the learning. So we talk about the birds and the bees, or those conversations that are tough to have. And a lot of times when we don't have these conversations, the people that we need to have these conversations with fill themselves with misinformation. So you learn things from places that aren't always accurate, such as social media or maybe peers, or just trying and making mistakes, and these mistakes might be problematic in your classes. And I want to make sure that you understand clearly about the policy in my classes, but also what to ask in other classes. I don't want you to fear being punished or just secretly use it and hope that people don't notice. I want you to really understand the best way to use it. And even though teachers are all different, what they're going to be explaining or expecting from you, I want you to be in charge of your own agency and figure out the questions to ask if they aren't offering suggestions. And I also want to share that just like you might be frustrated as a student, teachers are experiencing a lot of frustration. There's a lot of mistrust, and some teachers are feeling like they have to police their students instead of teaching, and there's a lot of academic integrity conflicts. And I would like us to move away from that and move to having the conversation and really learning. So again, we're having the talk now, but there's a question that I'm going to be asking you, and this is it. Like, what do you think AI does well? What do you think it struggles with? What worries you about AI in school or work? I want you to take a moment to answer that question. You can even pause the video to do that and then come back and keep watching. I also want you to understand that I want you to build your own authentic voice. We all come into this world with our own set of expectations and learning and culture and family and society. And so I want you to build your own voice and be able to use it in academia in your own life. I want you to be able to use it ethically, because there are lots of ways to use AI unethically, and we will be talking more about that. I want to make sure that you understand that it's important that you think and really learn and not use AI to just skate your way through college classes. And I want you to think about it like this. What if you hired a lawyer? This is like a lot of money involved, and that lawyer actually used AI to skate through school. Or let's say you're really sick, or you have a family member who's really sick and it's a life and death situation. Do you want a doctor who actually took the time to learn, or who used AI to not critically think? Okay, so those are things like, do you want people who are really doing the work, or do you want to pay money for somebody who hasn't taken the time to think? And so it's really important. And I want to make sure that you can stay in control of your own ideas, your own learning, because you have things that are important to say. You have a society, a family, a context where you can really make a difference if you develop your own voice. So again, I want to share, I'm going to read this quotation, that AI tools are becoming more prevalent in our world with each passing day, so many people use them. I understand that. I use them. In this class, we're going to talk about how to use them responsibly so they support your learning rather than replace your thinking. So here is an AI meter. And so these are some questions that you should be thinking about, like where does your AI use fall? Does it help you think better? Is it supportive? Are you using it for clarity, organization, polish, not for generating complete answers? Are you using it in a collaborative way? That's my favorite way to collaboratively work with AI, where AI joins the conversation, but I stay in charge of the output and the organization and how I might use it. Do you use AI to explore, to question, or to get unstuck? But it doesn't do the final reasoning for you or the reasoning for you at all. So those are some ways that we can use it well. Some ways that I don't want you to do it is I don't want it to substitute all the work for you and your learning. I don't want you to just put a prompt in, take it out, copy and paste it, and not think about anything. Because when you are relying on AI in this way, you're not doing the learning, and it is deeply unethical. So again, some examples for supportive uses on the AI meter: grammar checks, brainstorming titles, reordering some of your notes. Some other ways in terms of being collaborative, explaining a concept, and then you paraphrase it in your own way, identifying potential sources for evaluation are problematic. Substituting is a problem, so you shouldn't be copying AI-generated text or using AI to complete graded work, or you just minimally revise. So we're really looking for you to go to the supportive and the collaborative use, and to move away from this substitutive approach. I don't want you to substitute your thinking or work with AI. So again, some of the examples of what you could be doing with AI is critiquing. You ask AI to give an answer, and then you evaluate it. What did it do right? What did it miss? What biases or errors appeared? Also with AI versus human writing, comparing AI-generated responses to your own, and then analyzing the differences. And then thinking about when you're permitted to collaborate with AI, reflect on how you developed your final argument independently. How did you actually use AI at all? And you will be asked to give some AI disclosure where you're talking about what it is you did. So again, I want to reiterate, I've started talking about this, but some super unacceptable uses of AI. It should not generate full responses submitted as your own work. That is completely unethical. It should not complete quizzes, essays, or discussion posts. I want you to do the writing there. It is really important that we hear what you have to say. It shouldn't replace your research, analysis, or decision making. It should not just be paraphrased with minimal input by you. If AI is doing the reasoning, then the learning disappears. I want to share with you in terms of grammar checks. It is really important to understand that they may give you suggestions for rephrasing. Sometimes those suggestions are good, and sometimes they change your ideas. So it's really important that you take a look and make decisions where you are supporting what you have to say, your ideas, and your voice. So here's a little secret. We really, as teachers, can tell when you've used AI to generate. We don't need the machines to tell us because we see it. So it sounds like a bland textbook. AI writing has an overly consistent writing style. It lacks personal opinions. It includes overly repetitive language and unnatural transitions. It often includes factual inaccuracies. It may have inconsistencies in tone, and often it includes an absence of emotional nuance. It does not sound like you. And when you put in the work and effort to write your own ideas, nothing is better for me. So we can tell when you're using it, even if we don't call you out on it. And we're wanting you to actually only collaborate with AI in certain situations. I have an individual Turing test that I'm going to have you take a look at, and it's going to help make sure that when you collaborate with AI that you actually pass the test, so that we're asking questions like to help you understand that AI assisted work still sounds like you. You can explain the choices that you've made. You're able to apply your own judgment, not just copy and paste output. So I do expect you to draft and revise on a single Google Doc that I give you, and to maintain version history so that you can see, I can look as a teacher if I need to at the changes that you might be making, and that way you can show evidence of changes that you've made and how you're writing and growth. Because when you're writing, it doesn't look like this. It looks like this, and you're copying and pasting and changing and editing in real time. So my hope is for you to develop your thinking, your voice, and engagement in academia. You're here in academia, so be here. Be part of the conversation. I want to point out that an athlete does not improve by watching somebody else train. Learning happens the same way. You have to do the learning yourself. You have to do the daily things to help you become a better writer, a better thinker, a better reader. So if needed, use the tools wisely, but do not surrender the work that makes you stronger. Now you have an opportunity to share, and I'm going to be looking at the responses that you make in response to this lecture. I want to thank you for listening, and I also want you to think of other things that maybe I didn't bring up, concerns or thoughts that you have. Thank you very much, and have a great